He's adopted. Oh man, it is really hard to tell which one's the real one, which one's the fake, eh? Okay guys, here's a quick comparison between the official Hot Toys store and the KO HC Toy store. That's real, that's fake. Size comparison, you can clearly see Thor is much bigger. The head sculpt is smaller because there's obviously been quite a lot of shrinkage, to be honest. I mean, a hell of a lot. I mean, I know it's cold out, but damn, dude. We can see even the body has been shrunk down, the arms have shrunk, the trousers have shrunk, the feet have shrunk, everything is just a little bit underscaled. But even though it is a little bit underscaled, they still managed to pull off quite a bit of detail. Let's get in on those head sculpts and actually have a look at the real difference in quality. I know it's a little bit unfair to compare them. It's like getting Mike Tyson to go up against, well, me in a ring. HC Toys have done a lot of recasting from this figure, and what they couldn't recast, they've kind of done an okay job with. Like the chainmail arms just here, you can clearly see these are much more clear, they're sturdier, they're stronger, they have much more of a shiny finish, they look far more metallic, and they're actually bulkier and more muscular. You've even got the natural dip on the opposite side of where the elbow is, and it looks very natural. You can bring the arms down very close to the body. You can still do the same with this, but obviously you can see that the arms are just definitely not as good. They're definitely not as shiny, and they've got that sort of slightly more matte silicone look to it, and there's absolutely no bicep there whatsoever, really. And you've got a big bulge there where that singular arm joint is. Paint wise, obviously Hot Toys wins every single time, but this isn't as far off as you would have thought it would be. I was genuinely convinced I was going to get it out and there'd be horrible shading everywhere, the skin tone would be off all over the face, but it's not. It's actually quite consistent throughout, and there's some small paint flecking in there to give it a more natural look, and it's actually got a matte finish rather than a really shiny finish like you'd expect something cheap like this to have. But again, the detail in the beard, we can see there's absolutely none in comparison to here. Yeah, there's still detail in there, but in comparison to the fine whiskers that you see on this face sculpt here, this doesn't even come close. And obviously they've got a much better, more intricate and detailed paint job on the hair here. You can see the scars are far more subtle and much more natural. We can see it's far more obvious and far more blatant that those lines are in there. And obviously there is a lot softer detail in the fine hair sculpts here. Both figures have the same amount of articulation in the torso, which is 0. But if we turn the details in here, you can see it's got some of the fine sculpting in there, but it's definitely not as deep as here. And you lose a lot of the lines in the side here, like this one here. Paint wise, they've done a whole entire area here brown, whereas there's browns and blacks in that lower part there. And let's go down and have a look at the trousers. Sorry, there's an LED flicker in here, I can't do anything about that. There's a buttload of detail, it's well made, everything is all lined up and it works fantastically. And then we come over here and we can see those knee pads are completely off center. It's really hard to twist them around. And whereas this Thor clearly doesn't skip leg day, this guy clearly skips leg day every single time. Boots wise, we can see they're much larger here than on here. This guy has both shin guards, whereas this guy only has one. Again, Hot Toys wins. It actually came with all the pieces it should. But otherwise, the sculpt in this isn't too bad. There's still the details down here that's supposed to look like the boots have wrinkled up. And there's still some of the etchings up the top here. But it's obviously not as prominent. And again, cape wise, you've got some really nice pleats in here. They're all ironed in nice and safely. This is my fault. I haven't actually futzed with this properly. That's why it's a bit funny. Whereas this one does actually have the pleats in a little bit easier. But it's all creased and matted. And whereas this has a sort of satiny feel, this has more of a silk, super shiny look to it. You can see the light doesn't reflect off this as much as it does this. But again, this is both double layered, just like this one, except for this one's layers are a little less puffy. There's no point comparing the light up feature. This guy has it, this guy doesn't. This guy has some magnetic inserts inside the head, which means the eye patches can stick to it. This guy came with no eye patches. This guy comes with all different hands. This guy came with only 2 hands, both gripping. This torso armor is far shorter than this torso armor. This is far longer down here. You can see the height difference. And also this guy's cape can come off and you can put just the collar on the back minus the cape. This I believe is stuck on. You can't remove this cape. Okay, quickly let's compare the 2 disc effects that you get. The one on the right is the KO and the one on the left is the official. We can see that this one is far more clear than this one because they've given this a pearlescent paint because it's not meant to light up, whereas this one is meant to light up, so it's a bit more translucent. But you can see the details in this aren't too bad. It is a little bit bent and ski-whiff, but you can just warm these up with a hairdryer and straighten it out if you so wish. Overall, the effects here are far better. You can see they actually are far more jagged and they actually look like electricity, whereas these are a little bit more like a tree branch or something like that. So a little bit more warming up with a hairdryer would get these effects looking a bit better, but it's still, for an effect, it's very effective. And just quickly, Gonzo style, we can see the difference between the discs here. This is the official and this is the KO, and you can see the detail in that official one is far more subtle and much more classy, whereas a bit sloppy and just a bit more garish in the KO. And obviously this is the Bad Tomato axe, not the original that came with Thor. I don't actually have the original axe. When I bought this, it didn't come with it. It was actually sold sans the axe, which is why I ended up buying the Bad Tomato one. But it's to its strength because this is far bigger and far greater. But like I said, what could you do with this guy? Well, you could customize it, give him some more action poses stuff, and like he can be far in the background throwing the axe around, maybe in maybe some action photography, possibly something like that. I would say it would work really well. Or maybe you just want to customize and get sort of like a cool looking custom comic book Thor with a different head sculpt. You could do that as well, really. So overall, if you were thinking about getting this guy instead of this guy and thinking this was a good budget version of him, honestly, I don't think so. This is a beautiful high-end 1/6 scale display piece. This is an oversized action figure. Like I said, it's probably really good for custom pieces. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. If you can do me a favor now, if you can get the fuck out of my cave. And also, if you've got any ideas on what I can do with this, sound off in the comments below and let me know. And we'll see if we can't make lemonade. Bye bye guys.